Good morning. Welcome to another exciting edition of the American Canadian pre-race show. I'm your host, Joshua Lee Jaguar, and of course we got Ryan and Tar Heel up in the booth with us this morning on this lovely Pocono morning. Tonight will be a 65-lap race here in the great Poconos.
70.
70 actually, my bad. It was 70, so I got to redo some of my work when I get done. Oh, well, sorry. Ryan and Clemson's in the booth with us this morning. Alrighty. Last week we was at Kansas International Speedway. Oh, man. By the way, how are y'all doing on this fine morning right here?
Doing alright.
Alright.
How about you?
Alrighty. Last night we had UNC beat our rival Duke last night.
Amen to that.
Oh my God, it was a heck of a darn fight on Tobacco Road right there. UNC went to Duke and blew Duke out right there. Alright.
No, we didn't go to Duke. Duke came to our house.
Well, alright, yeah. Let the Tar Heel guy talk right now while I'm getting the points up and the stages up on the race recap. Alrighty, with 2 races to go in the playoffs, your top 2 seeds have already got themselves in a commanding spot right here. Your top 2 seeds will be Hangover and Jaguar. They have secured the top 2 right there. That is your top 2 seeds going. If the playoffs started tonight, them 2 would be your top 2 seed. Them 2 have got their numbers already right there, 1 and 2 right there. So, a big shout out to the Winning Bid NASCAR diecast sales and card break. Big shout out to them guys. Check them out on Facebook if you hadn't already. Alrighty. Like I said, last week we was at Kansas. The week before we had a little rain delay that basically jeopardized our chances of getting that race in 2 weeks ago. Last weekend we actually got it in due to it was being nice and sunny and there was no Dorothy in the area. Or no cows in the area, actually, if you want to say that right there. But your Stage 1 winner of last Sunday night was Justin, Hangover, Tar Heel, Bruce, Clemson, Simon, Jaguar, and Bulldog. That was your Stage 1. Your Stage 2 winner was Hangover, Simon, Tar Heel, Jaguar, Bruce, Justin, Clemson, and Bulldog. Your overall race win came down to fuel mileage on the last lap right there. Your winner was Joshua Lee Jaguar in that number 19 Toyota, followed by Simon. Bruce getting his career best, finishing 3rd, Tar Heel finishing 4th, Bulldog finishing 5th, Hangover finishing 6th, Clemson finishing 7th, and 8th is Justin that blew an engine. Your points, your regular season points right now is Hangover with 1,414, Tar Heel with 1,301, Jaguar with 1,242, Bruce with 1,122, Simon with 1,032, Bulldog with 956, Clemson with 736, Dylan with 644, Carper with 199, Ken with 161, Mike with 57 points going into tonight's race. Alrighty, y'all heard me right. We are 2 weeks away from the start of the playoffs, which will be at Daytona. So, guys, what y'all think about last Sunday's race after we had a threat of weather the week before with Dorothy, the cows flying, and of course we had people cooking steaks when we went to Wichita, Kansas. We stopped by Aunt Meg's house to grab some good old steaks and some eggs, and then all of a sudden we go to the track. We have threads of cows flying around, and of course we have Dorothy in the air screaming, "Oh my God, it's raining!" But that was 2 weeks ago. We went back to Kansas. Now it was sunny. We had no shot of Dorothy or cows flying. So, what'd y'all think about that?
Well, the steak and eggs was good. Aunt Meg's getting old, and I'm glad to see that she got her a new house built.
Yeah, I was wondering about that right there. It was kind of devastated right there after we had to call the race right there. But dang, I feel bad for the cows actually being in my belly. All right, playoffs. Everybody's been talking about this for the last couple of weeks right here. It's playoffs. We're still 2 weeks away. Now people are talking about playoffs with 2 weeks ago. For both of y'all, what's the playing field looking like? We know the top 2 seeds we already know the top 2 seeds are secured. But the other, from 3rd and down, they've not really got themselves locked into a seed yet right now. What's y'all's intake on that going into tonight and next weekend at Richmond, which will be held at 5 o'clock next weekend due to the Super Bowl? So what are y'all looking at on the playing field right now?
Well, I think I've pretty much clinched the top 5 seed. What we should probably be talking about is the guys on the cut line. That would be Clemson and Bruce.
Alrighty. Clemson, you're above that cut line. But after the race incident last week between you and Jaguar, we also talked to Jaguar last weekend, this past week, and we talked to you this past week. What was that feud? I know y'all two got heated. It started in stage 2 right here, but has that feud settled down, or are we about to see you and Jaguar have at it tonight, or is it going to be one of the races that y'all just stay away from each other? Okay, Ryan, what do you see about these two drivers? They had a feud last weekend. You think it's going? You probably think it ain't going to carry through you, but do you think it's going to cause you think Clemson's going to drive Jaguar harder, or what's your intake on this little incident that happened last weekend?
Well, I didn't see what happened, but all I know is Jaguar's a little heated, and all I can say is, well, Clemson, he needs to get himself, he needs to, focus on winning a race. And if it means fighting hard for that, then so be it.
All right, with that being said, we know some of the drivers are right there below the cutoff line. You see Bruce pulling a Hail Mary for the next 2 weeks. Do you see him pulling a Hail Mary?
Well, you know him sometimes, if the caution comes out early, he won't pit and he'll have the lead while everybody else pits. But we know that that's not a good call. So he try to make the right decisions at the right time. The same with Clemson, they need to make the right decisions at the right time and hope that things go their way.
Exactly. All right. Right now, everybody, like I said earlier, everybody's scratching their heads, figuring out, okay, what do we do now with 2 weeks to go with the regular season? We know Hangover is the regular season champion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after Daytona, we go to Dover. But right now, everybody's focused on them last few little playoff spots right there. We know Simon is in the hunt to try to get his first win. We know he can get his first win at Daytona. to possible clinch his playoff spot right there at Daytona. We know Clemson can clinch an actual playoff spot at Daytona.
That's anybody's game there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be wild.
There's a few people that are that's above that cut line that's thinking, okay, I can play it safe right now. I don't need to drive aggressive or play defense or play offense right now. All I got to do is just play defense to play with my points, keep my points up and everything. There's different vulnerables going into tonight with 70 laps, and then we got Richmond early Sunday afternoon before the Super Bowl, which is I'll have no part of due to I don't really care about the Super Bowl next weekend. I care less about it, but it would be a good thing. Like everybody says, hey, we'll be racing early next Sunday. Okay, good. But that's besides the point. We still be carrying on our normal things that we always do every weekend. That being said, who do you think would get into that last position in that last spot of the playoffs right there?
I have no idea. I mean, I believe that it'll be either Bruce or Clemson will be that last one in.
Well, that's actually a pretty good thing. I mean, last weekend was on fuel strategy. Of course, Hangover's still looking for that 10th win to try to get that extra bonus points. I mean, the more wins you get, the more better you're off with the playoffs. You're not having to win into the next round. You're basically got yourself secured until the second round. The second round is where you're really going to have to pay attention to, okay, Jaguar, Hangover, Tar Heel, for example, okay, they're good right there. They're good right there in points, but how do I advance if I'm the ones that's right there below the cut line? You win. But if the other top contenders, they win, that only gives you a small margin to try to get on based on points right there. You see that? Do you see a Cinderella story of Benson to not try to take one of the top contenders out of eliminating their chances of winning a race, even though they don't need to win a race in the playoffs? There's different scenarios going on, and I mean, do y'all see anybody sneaking in that probably wouldn't be a factor?
Well, Daytona's going to be the first race of the playoffs. So, I mean, anything can happen. You could be, at the end of the first three races, two guys will be eliminated. That'll be 9th and 10th and points will be eliminated. So, if, one of those guys below the cut line wins at Daytona, then you're going to have a guy that was already above the cut line is going to be below the cut line. So.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't see the top two being below the cut line because they're going to have plenty of points to fall back on for the first 2 rounds. I see them two being secured for the next 2 rounds. But that third round to try to get into that championship 4, them two drivers are going to either they play their games right, do what they've been doing, they've been in this contention spot before, they know what it's going to take. And for me, the one that would surprise me to get in, if Simon, I love Simon to death. I can't believe this is his last year. I've actually talked to Simon this past week, and we were discussing about, all right, it's his final season with us. I was like, hey, won't you drive the 19 car for one race? The since this is your final season and everything, we was talking about doing it here at Pocono. And it was me being nice to him. I mean, this is Simon's last season with us due to him going to the police academy, him fixing to get married. And I'm being nice to him and everything. Like, hey, I got a deal for you. I got an offer. I know you like the 19, so do I. And we both raced the 19 in different leagues and everything. And I was like, well, how about this? You race one race in the 19, I'll take a gamble in the 48 car, even though that's not who I raced for. It'd be a swap a ride like Lewis Hamilton and Tony Stewart did at one time in the Formula One cars, but with a different team.
I told Simon, I told him that if he wasn't going to be racing, then I'd take over the 48, but he'd still have a spot for a Hendrick car.
Right.
When he can race.
I mean, I was thinking about letting him drive the 19, and he was like, yeah, if you want to do it, that's fine. I mean, give me a chance to get my farewell tour away. But I mean, I fully will miss Simon racing with him when he does show up. But I tell you, it's getting so darn intense for the next two races. After this, we got I know we got Richmond and let's see, what do we got after tonight? We got
Richmond after tonight. We got Pocono, Richmond, and then start playoffs at Daytona.
Alrighty, so next Sunday will be the last regular season race before we go into the playoffs. Now, like I said, everybody's scratching their heads, and I'm really stoked about Richmond because it's a short track. Temper's gonna be flaring.
Mm-hmm.
And
people are gonna be used as brakes, probably.
Yeah. And I didn't say that right there. I would use you as
a... one always speaks first.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. And I mean, and I do understand that with Tempers coming up, tonight's going to be a temper race right here. And I hate to say this right here. Even though Pocono is a big track, there's going to be people using other people as dummies, if you would want to say that right there. And I mean, I love racing with Bulldog. I love racing with everybody in this league right here. And I mean, Bulldog is the one that you really need to watch out for going into these next two races right here. He's improved a lot. He's going to be him and Clemson are going to be the two main Cinderella stories right here, going into tonight and next Sunday afternoon. Simon, unfortunately, has to win to get himself secured, not based on points. Yes, he's got stage wins to fall back on, but he's got to have that. He's got to have that car locked up tonight in the 48 Hendrick car, in that 48 Ally car, and someone else is needing to win too, because last time this guy won was at Daytona. Yes, I'm talking about you, Tar Heel. What do you have to do in that number 9 Napa car tonight just to try to give a little comfort or a little cushion to where you're not sweating it at Richmond?
I mean, I'm not, going to be sweating it at Richmond no matter what happens tonight. I mean, I'm pretty much, already locked in to a top 5 spot. So, I mean, I'm just going to, do my thing, try to get a win either tonight or next week. Maybe get, get myself up to possibly 3rd position to have a 3 seed before the playoffs start. feel a little bit more comfortable. But I mean, I'm gonna, not gonna be too aggressive, but I mean, I'm not gonna be too conservative either. I mean, I'm just gonna, do my thing, try to be at least consistent.
All right, Clemson, goes to you right here. You're the dark horse going into these next two races right here. You have to put Kansas behind you. You're not. What would you have to do? I know you said you have to drive aggressive. But the thing is, you also got to drive aggressive, but also think who's around you. So what's your thoughts going into tonight? We've raced here before. You know how your car is going to handle. Yes, even though it's a 5 extra laps right here at Pocono. What does that 22 car have to do tonight to be somewhat of a threat going into Daytona at the first race of the playoffs? What does that 22 have to do for the next two races right here? And not using anybody as a darn dummy. That's between y'all two, right? That's between y'all two right there. Y'all gotta rob it on y'all's own right there. I'm talking about the 22. Yes, you have to be focused, and you've got to work on different things. But that's besides the point. But say if you did get yourself locked into the playoffs, say if you did mathematically pull out a upset win over the top 5 contenders into the night's race, how would that momentum carry you going into Daytona? But I mean, you're in the playoffs based on points. But if you got that win, would that momentum carry on to Daytona and the Dover? But this is my favorite time of the show right here. It's Rackham and Stackham, where we choose stage 1, stage 2 overall race win tonight here at the Great Pocono Mountains. Oh man. Alrighty, Clemson. Who is your stage 1, stage 2 overall race win tonight going into Pocono? Stage 2. Overall race win. Tar Heel, stage 1, stage 2, overall race win.
I'm going to say stage 1 is probably going to be Ken. Stage 2 probably Hangover, and I think race win will probably be Ken.
Alrighty. Nobody's picking Hangover to get that 10th win going into tonight. Dang, that 10th win's going to have to hang on for a little bit longer. Alrighty, my stage 1 winner, I'm going to give it to that number 12 car, Ken. Stage 2, I'm going to say that darn Bass Pro car right there. That darn fishy. Whew. That darn fish
has going to be stinking tonight.
No, that darn fish has been darn looking good up there for the last couple of weeks right there. He's been He's on a darn roll right there, and you cannot count Jaguar out when it comes to these fuel mileage races right here. Jaguars get stage 2. Overall race win? It's going to come down to fuel mileage like it was in Kansas. Give me that number Bass Pro Toyota helmet right there. Give me my hat right here. That's right, y'all. The number 19 goes for his 6th win of the season right there. To actually add another 10 points to the playoffs right there, to where it's only 30 behind Hangover. Only 30 points behind him. That's right. The number 19 Bass Pro car will be in victory lane. He goes back-to-back onto fuel mileage race. This is a track that slipped away from him when we was the last time we was here at Pocono. It was a fuel mileage race. The one that got him was Hangover. Not tonight, my friend. Not tonight. Not so fast. That number 19 goes back-to-back tonight here in the Great Pocono Tricky Triangle tonight. That is my final pick, y'all, right here. But my Cinderella pick, if I had to do a Cinderella pick, I would give it to that number 41 car. That 41 car has surprised everybody, and I give Bulldog a heck of a darn effort right here. He's improved so much since he came into this league. First time racing in the league, actually. So
I'll tell you what, I raced with him on Monday night, man. He had a good car. But, you know, I mean, we was at Talladega, so, I mean, he's strong at the super speedways, but we'll see what he can do on a downforce track.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no doubt. Daytona, first playoff race of the season. It is going to come down to who makes the right call, who stays up front. I mean, it's literally a game changer right here for in 2 weeks. I mean, there's different factors. If I want to throw something up right here, if I'm the 22 car, I always do this right here. I try to give people hints right here. Don't be aggressive right here. You're basically in the playoffs based on points. Drive how you been. Respect the other darn drivers. If someone's saying this is the reason why him and Jaguar got into it right here, especially when it came down to the darn last lap right here, listen to the darn leaders. The leaders have got control over the lap cars right here. And I truly understand where race control, I understand where you're the leader and everything. I understand where he's coming from. Clemson had 4 fresh tires. I get that. But it's the final lap. Be respectful to the leaders and the ones that's on the lead lap. If they tell you to go high, go high. If they tell you to go low, go low. Don't fight with the leader, especially if they're in contention trying to stay with the lead pack. I mean, and I felt bad for Simon actually running out of fuel in that last lap. I talked to him about that. He's like, man, we just ran out of fuel, and everybody was asking Jaguar, was you saving fuel? Jaguar's like, no, I wasn't saving. He was not saving fuel. He pitted a lap after everybody did. He knew that it was going to come down to the last lap and everything. He knew it was a fuel strategy race. But I wouldn't, like I said, don't count Jaguar out on a fuel mileage race, because he's won the 3 races on fuel mileage. You can't count him out right here on a fuel mileage race. But that being said and done, last night we did have the clash due to inclement weather that came into this morning at Los Angeles. So, but that being said and done, a big shout out to all of y'all. Big shout out to all of our armed forces, military personnel, everybody out there. Big shout out to every driver that races with us day in and day out, every weekend. Oh man, I'm ready for the playoffs now. I'm looking forward to the playoffs right now. I'm We're 2 weeks away till we go to Daytona. After that, we will be at Dover. We still got one more road course to end the road courses. Man, I can't wait for that one. I can't wait to get away from Charlotte Roval. But that being said and done, we will see y'all next Sunday morning at 10:30. We'll be racing at 5 o'clock next Sunday due to the Super Bowl being at 6:30. So we'll see y'all next Sunday morning at 10:30 like we always do. We'll see y'all then.
Have a good one.